Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a get ready with me as well as a pretty big life update. I feel like I have a lot to talk about today. I have it all written down on my phone, things that I've wanted to say over the last honestly 3 years. So it's been a while. And before we get into it, if I sound a little different, I do have braces. I am 31 with braces and I'm not ashamed about it. I do have Invisalign. That's something that we're going to talk about later on in the video along with everything else that I want to talk about. So if I do sound a little different, that is why. So I feel like I'm going to have to take you guys honestly all the way back to 2020 because I feel like that is where life just was different for me. And honestly for everybody. Let's be real here. So obviously 2020 happened, COVID happened, and it for some people really allowed people to thrive in their personal lives and business and things like that. And then for other people like myself, I took a really big hit. Now, I'm not blaming anybody for how my life had turned out since COVID. That's not what we're going to get into. I'm not going to be, it's not going to be like some big sap story. But with COVID and with my career, I did take a big hit. I'm in the service industry. If you don't know, I still do makeup. I freelance and I've done makeup for a really long time. It's been like 11, 12 years that I've been in this industry. And so since 2018, I decided to start doing it all on my own. Became my own little business person, working by myself, for myself, and it's been amazing. And everybody knows when you start a business, it's going to take some time to really build it from the ground up. So just 2 years into working for myself and then COVID hit, that wasn't really the best for me. So because I work in the service industry and I work mainly weddings, I do makeup for any occasion, but big bulk of it is weddings. Everybody had to cancel their wedding. And if they cancel their wedding, then I don't get a job and I don't have a job. And that's just how it ended up. And that sucks for me because I work for myself, so I didn't get paid to be at home. I just didn't get paid at all. I did, however, get the 2 stimulus checks. Okay. But that was it. So that in itself kind of started the domino effect, if you will. Now, I live in NWI, which is also the Chicagoland area. I'm about 20 minutes from Chicago, but I live in Indiana. So it's hard to explain, but we're all just kind of the same thing. But since I live over the border, we did have a different lifestyle than people who lived in Illinois/Chicago. So after everybody knows the shit show of what 2020 had become, I had some hope for 2021. So I think it was like February of 2021, Indiana had opened everything up and it felt like we had normalcy again. It just, again, after what we had gone through 2020, it just felt like things were going to be okay. And then March of 2020 happened and I tragically lose my dog to cancer. And it was something that was really, really hard to accept and hard to deal with because it happened so unexpectedly and there was literally nothing that we could do. We tried absolutely everything. He ended up having cancer, and so badly that it took over his entire insides. And we didn't know that until he was on the operating table. It went undetected in scans. It went undetected in blood work. He was a healthy boy. And that's just going off of medical records. The only reason why we decided to open him up was because finally in one scan, it showed that there could have been something maybe in his stomach. So they were like, oh, it looks really small. Let's open him up. And tragically, when she opened him up, she said there was so many tumors inside him that she's never seen that much in a dog and that he had to be put down immediately. Now, as you can imagine, we went into this not thinking we were going to lose our dog that day. We thought, we were just so positive. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that they found something and we're going to heal him and he's going to be great. And it was just the furthest from the truth. And that destroyed me. And it wasn't so much so that he was dying and we were losing him to that. It was just how he died that mentally just didn't, it wasn't well. We weren't well. After losing him, I started to hallucinate. It was honestly one of the most insane experiences I've ever had to go through in my life because I didn't know what was triggering me to hallucinate, and it was constant. But it was mostly while I was getting ready to fall asleep. So it would always be at night in bed, and I would hallucinate bugs, specifically spiders, and they would be everywhere. And it was so real. I was really, really, really scared. And luckily, Jake was always there next to me, that when I would start hallucinating and freaking out, he would always bring me back to reality. So this went on for about 6 months, and I would tell my mom about it, and I'm like, Mom, am I going crazy? Do I need to go get checked? I don't know what's causing this. I don't feel stressed. Looking up all the signs of like why you could hallucinate. It didn't feel like there was a reason why I was hallucinating. So after about 6 months, it was like the end of 2021, and I started to come alive again. I'd really taken the time to heal myself from Bruno's passing, and we were just, living our new lives with new routines since we didn't have our other baby boy, but we did still have Blue. And so we were trying to be as normal as possible. Like, that's all that we could do. And we did just that. And I felt like, okay, I can do this. We got this. Now it is January 2022, and my 30th birthday is approaching. And so we're making plans for that. And I'm getting excited to start my new journey in my 30s. And then one day I'm at home with Blue, and Jake's at his parents' house having dinner. And I look over to Blue, and I notice that he kind of did a weird and it only lasted a second. It was probably like 2 or 3 breaths. And I looked over at him, and it just filled me with, I don't even know how to describe the feeling. I just knew in that moment that he had cancer. And you're probably thinking like, why would you even think that? Why would you put that in your head? After seeing the symptoms and sign that Bruno had gone through, and we didn't know that it was cancer, the second Blue did that, I knew. I knew it in my heart. I didn't want to believe it. I called Jake up and I said, hey, we're going to the vet now. We need to get Blue blood work scanned. I don't think he's okay. And even though that lasted 2 seconds and he was fine the rest of the day, Jake was like, I'm going to trust you and we're going to go. So of course Jake is like, I really hope you're not right. And I'm like, I don't want to be right either, but there's just something in my gut, my intuition. This is not good. We rushed him to the vet. He's like, what the hell is going on with you guys? Like, why are you freaking out? And of course we do scans and blood work, and the vet comes back to us and says, yeah, I have some unfortunate news for you. There was a tumor so big, I'm not kidding you, it was this big. When the doctor showed how big it was with her hands, and I looked at my dog and I was like, oh my God, that is literally half of his body. And she confirmed that that's exactly what was happening. It was half of his insides, and it was enlarging and taking over. So immediately I was like, okay, I can't believe that we're going through this again in 10 months, because it was 10 months span of Bruno and Blue. And I asked her, I said, okay, how much time do you think we have? And she said, honestly, I would give it a month. I could not believe what she was saying. It was like we were living this nightmare all over again. And I was like, we just got through losing Bruno, and now we're losing Blue. Like, our whole world was just flipped upside down. And I'm like, and this is the start of a new year. I'm going to my 30s. Like, I wanted us to be this family, and I'm losing my family. I'm losing them right now. And it was just like something that I just could not handle at all. And in 3 weeks, Blue had to be put down because his insides were rupturing and he was dying. He passed away 7 days before my 30th birthday. And it was just such a confusing time for me. Like, here I wanted to go into my 30s. I just had this vision of how I was going to go into my 30s, and it was just not that. And just a few short weeks after that, my hallucinations started up again. And that's when I realized that I had some sort of PTS trauma response from losing Bruno and now losing Blue the exact same way. And my body could not handle it. No matter how positive and happy and just accepting I was of this devastating tragedy, it still deep down ate me alive. So this was something that was happening to me for a while that I didn't really share on. And I wanted to share it with you today because a lot of people, like one of their number one asked questions since the boys have passed away is, would you be getting another animal? Is your heart open to another animal? And I understand why people are saying these things. I'm not upset one bit of why people ask these questions. It's because they know how much I loved my animals. They want to see another animal loved by me because my animals literally were on a pedestal above humans. People would tell us all the time that we treated our dogs better than some people treat their children. And so I know that it was coming from a place of love, of people being like, you need to save all the animals in the world. Like, any animal needs to be in your care because you're such a great mom. But what I was realizing is the more I was surrounding myself with other animals, the worse my hallucinations became. So in March of 2022, I had a family member that was in a really, really bad situation and had 3 cats. And essentially, like, they had no place to go. And it was either somebody close to this family member take them and watch them while this person got their life together, or they had to go to a shelter. And that just wasn't in the cards for me. My first animal was a cat. So I said, yeah, like, my dogs are gone now. I have the space. I'll take the cats because I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. So I had the cats for about a month and a half, and it was fun. Like, I grew up with a cat, so I already knew like how they are and how their personalities are. And these were 3 boys that I was watching, and they had just the best personality. They were like a cat dog. They were amazing. But what I noticed is my anxiety and just my heart like wasn't in a good place the entire time I had them. I was very emotionally up and down every single day, and I was crying multiple times a week. I would be so happy to see this animal and just interact and snuggle and love on it, yet it was tearing my heart apart at the same time. And it was honestly causing these hallucinations to become even worse. I was sharing this journey on Instagram, so everybody knew on Instagram that I had these cats, and so many people were like, you need to keep them and blah, 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 when people didn't really realize how bad I was suffering on the inside just having them. So then I end up going to visit my best friend, and I stayed with her for about 4 or 5 days. And she's got a cat and a dog. And oh my God, I love them. Her cat, she's had since we were 12. We're 31. She's still kicking. This girl is going to outlive us all. And then she's got a bulldog, and she's also just the cutest, chunkiest little thing in the entire world. I had never hallucinated outside of my house before. And staying with her, I ended up hallucinating there as well. Which honestly, then it came to the conclusion that these hallucinations were animal induced. And it wasn't so much about seeing animals, even being around them. It was about having a routine with them. So if I was with an animal for more than a few days and I started to have this routine of taking them out and feeding them and being around them, especially when they were in my care, I was mentally going insane. It was causing me so much distress. And all the while I didn't realize that, because seeing these animals and being around them, I was happy until I wasn't. And so because of that, going back to the question, are we open to adopting or taking in another animal? The answer is no. And I never say never. I'm somebody who will never say that, because I've put myself in quite a few situations where I've said never, and then, here I am on the other side of that. But it's just a no as of right now. And I think that's because me and Jake are transitioning into a new journey in our lives, and I just don't have the emotional capacity to take on that job again at the moment. I love animals. I literally want to go outside and save every single animal out there, but I just physically, emotionally, mentally cannot. And who's to say that will change? I really hope it does, because how annoying is that? I don't want this to be a forever thing. So I'm hoping over time, which is more healing of my heart and the different journeys that me and Jake take, that eventually we will be open to having an animal again. And hopefully I won't be triggered by these PTSD responses. Gosh, months and months later, after Blue passed away, I ended up taking in my sister's dog. She's got a German Shepherd, and she was just shy of being 1. And we watched her for a week, and I was crying every day. Jake was crying every day. So who knows? There's not a time frame, but I would be heartbroken if I did think I was ready and I took on an animal and I wasn't, because I will never take on an animal if it's not for the long run. So many people will do that. They think it's just some whim of, hey, I think it's a great idea to go get a cat or a dog or a bird, and then decide like a year later that that's not for them. Those type of people are not my favorite. So I don't want to be that person now, knowing that this is my reaction to other animals. So we're still in 2022. Blue had died in January. I had watched and adopted temporary the cats in March. Now I'm like trying to, again, heal my heart, go with the motions, grieve, and just rebuild. So May comes along and I get COVID. This is the first time I get COVID. 2 years in, I was like, I really dodged it, and now it finally got me. And it got me because I think I got it from, which I should have known better. I went to a Baby Shark concert to do it for my nieces, and we all got sick. So I definitely think I got it from Baby Shark. Nonetheless, I get sick. And I get every single symptom that you could possibly get from COVID. Besides the really bad body aches, I did not get that. But I had fever, I had nausea, I threw up, I had sore throat, I had sores on my throat, I had headache, I had a weird eye thing, just literally everything that you could, and a cough. Everything that you could possibly have with COVID, I had it. So that was an experience. Now, one thing I'll say about COVID is, even though I basically had everything that you could have, I have been sicker. So let me explain. I've had worse fevers. I've had worse sore throats. I've had worse coughs. But I think just the fact that I had all of them at the same time, like they were all just like shaken up and like clocking in and out for their shifts. Like it was crazy. Every single day I had something different. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So that lasted for about 9 days straight of just not in good health at all. I'm over here talking and I think I'm missing certain steps over here. I really don't know how people do get ready with me and talk the entire time, because I am not great at it, but moving on. So after about that 9-day mark, I started to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And now this is just like me recovering from being so sick for so long. That lasted the entire month of May. I was sick the entire month of May. Even after all my symptoms have gone away, I was just so depleted in my energy that for 2 weeks straight, like my sleep, I couldn't get enough. I was off. It was just really strange, different. And then in comes the kicker. After I finally feel better, my best friend texts me because she had it too. And she goes, hey, are you losing your hair at all? And I was like, no, I don't think so. I haven't really noticed anything different more than usual. And she was like, okay, because I think I'm losing mine. And I was like, oh my God, no, like that really sucks. You know, I've heard other people losing their hair. My mom lost her hair. And I was like, I really hope that it's not coming for me. It came for me. And for 3 months straight, I lost my hair. Every single day, it was just coming out in clumps. I was like, are you absolutely kidding me right now? After everything I've gone through in the last 2 years, you're gonna lay this white dog shit on me? I was like, I cannot believe this. I cannot. Kick me while I'm down. Thank you so fucking much. But there was nothing I could do about it, so it is what it is. So I lost my hair. So I've never really been somebody who gets down on their appearance. I've really learned to love everything about me, even all of my flaws. Like, I love everything. But when I lost my hair, I was like, you know what? I feel so ugly. I don't want to look at anybody, see anybody. Another big reason why I stopped doing videos, because I was like, I have 3 pieces of hair. I'm like, you know what? I just need to step back, take a deep breath, and chuck 2022 up for a loss and just get my heart right, get my mind right, get my body right. Especially after COVID, when I was sick all of May, I didn't work out. And that ended up being kind of like a domino effect for the rest of the year. I took the entire year off of everything, creating content, working out, doing anything good for myself. I was just doing the very, very bare minimum. I still had my clients, so I was still taking care of them. I was still running my business, but other than that, I didn't want to do anything. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. There was other things that were happening in my personal life that I don't really feel comfortable talking about on here. I like to keep some things private, but man, I was going through it. And again, I was still happy and fun and thriving while also like digging my grave. Like it was the most wild year for 2022 for me. It was the best and the worst year that I've ever had in my life. So just know like that high and that low, I knew that I needed to take a break. I just needed to step away. And that's what I did. There were times where I would come back online and try to like make videos and content because I still do like making videos and creating content. But I couldn't do it consistently because I just wasn't there mentally consistently. As 2022 was coming to an end, my best friend ended up getting married in December. And it was such a wonderful wedding. All of my best friends live in different states. So it's really hard for all of us to be together under one roof all the time. And so the fact that we had her bachelorette that we got to all be together, and then her wedding, her bachelorette was Halloween weekend. So we had that, and then we had her wedding in December. And that really just kind of helped. Just like it brought a really good end to 2022. And I was like, you know what? I have a good feeling about this. I really did spend this year working on myself, healing my heart, and I had this mindset of, okay, this is what we're going to do in 2023. We're going to get our life back together. We're going to get our routine back together. We're going to do everything that we used to do pre-COVID, pre-2020. It's like, I want my 2019 self back again. And that's what I focused on going into 2023. But I cannot end 2022 on that great of a moment because at her wedding, we all got COVID. Literally all of us. Jake was the only person who didn't get sick. My parents got sick. I got sick. All my best friends, their friends, like we all got COVID. And I was like, I cannot believe I'm getting COVID twice this year. I've dodged it for 2 years in a row. And now I'm getting it 6 months back to back. Excuse me. So that went into January a little bit. But besides that time though, it was fine. I just had a sore throat, like a very, very mild sore throat for 5 days. So it wasn't really anything to worry about. I was worried if I was going to re-trigger losing my hair. I was like, that's the only thing. Please don't do this to me. Like, I'm starting to get my hair back. It finally stopped falling out. Please don't do this to me. And it didn't. So thank the Lord, because your girl could not go through that twice. Which now leads us to this year, 2023. So I said 2023, got to get my shit back together. The first thing I wanted to start with was a gym routine. I wanted to get back into it because I literally took 8 months off of the gym. I didn't do anything. Wasn't even walking outside because we always had the dogs to walk. So we always had at least a daily walk, even if I didn't make it to the gym. But I wasn't doing anything, nothing. And so I really lost a lot of the strength I had. I've always gone to the gym more so for like mental stability and to feel strong. Like it's good for you to work out. It was never like to look jacked or chiseled or anything like that. It was for mental stability. So the fact that I didn't have that and then I was losing my strength for not doing it, I just felt very fragile. And it just wasn't a good feeling. Like just walking upstairs was a lot for me. And I'm like, okay, we got to stop doing this. So I started a routine. And I've been consistent. I've been going back to the gym 4 days a week. I'm doing the damn thing. And now, it's the end of March. It's going to be April here soon. And I finally feel like I've gotten that old girl back. Like I've gotten my old self back of just the discipline and the drive and the consistency and the happiness. Like I feel good again after not feeling the best for so long. 3 years is a long time to just not feel at the top of your game. And I know that we all have to sometimes just take a step back and recoup and things like that. So I'm very grateful that I was able to do that. And I'm grateful for the people that I have in my life that are my cheerleaders. And they're like, hey, we're here for you. Do what you got to do to like get yourself back to where you are, but don't forget who you are. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm really grateful for that. So because of that, I've really built a strong foundation where I feel my best again. And I don't feel like I'll get knocked down as hard as I did the last 3 years. So now that we got this routine down and I'm feeling like my discipline's coming back and my creative side's coming back and all these good things are coming back. The universe always delivers when you're ready, because this year we finally got our dream home. So a couple things that I had wanted in a dream home was land, because I want a garden, I want privacy, I want an area where I feel like I could expand and do whatever I want. I also wanted land so that I can build a home, because after just seeing the homes that are on the market and then watching my sister build her home and then being in the home that I'm in now and wanting certain things, there are things about a home that I want that I just don't think I'll be able to find out there. I also didn't want to do like some cookie cutter home like in a neighborhood where I'd have to like follow their rules. So I had really strong specifics on what I wanted for our next journey. And this is where I think the power of manifestation really comes into play. You need to be honest with yourself, with God, with the universe, with whoever that you feel that you need to be honest with. I needed to tell that person, that thing, this is what I want and I'm not going to accept anything less. And that's what I did. I said, this is what I want and I know that it's out there. It will come to me when it's ready. So Jake's grandparents owned some land here in the town that I live in, and his grandma had grown up on this 4-acre lot. So she grew up on that land. And then when she passed away, the land was then bought by Jake's cousin. And Jake's cousin had then had the home for the last 10 years. Back in September in 2022, his cousin had, reached out to the family and was like, hey, I'm getting ready to move. Obviously, this house and this land has been in our family for years, generations. And he's like, I would obviously want to offer it to anybody in the family before I go to put it on the market or offer it to a friend. Would any of you guys be interested in? Immediately, Jake was like, absolutely. Jake's grandma meant so much to him. It was his person. His grandma was his best friend. And so to be able to get that opportunity to now take over that property meant everything to him. And he was like, I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to get that. And as of last month, it is officially ours. I am just blown away at the details of specifics of what I was looking for in land, in a home, in everything. And it was, here's a platter. Here it is. Now, it wasn't given to us, but you know what I mean? The opportunity was passed to us, and that was just incredible. So it's on this beautiful 4 acres, unincorporated, and we're just so excited. Like, we know that the home isn't livable for us even to build on it. It's a very small home. I think it was built in the 1940s, maybe even earlier. And it's really small. It's not something that if me and him were to grow into a family, like we'd be able to do that. So we're going to use that opportunity to build our dream home on the land. So that's going to be a long journey in itself, with just like talking to the town and making sure that we can get these permits to do that and really build the home that we're looking for. It's probably going to take 2 to 3 years. And I'm okay with that because we have the land. We have exactly what we want. And so it's just a matter of time and just keeping that vision going forward with this new journey. And I'm just so excited for us because, yeah, it's not something that really gets to happen that often. So after everything with the house went through, I found myself with a mouthful of braces again. Back in 2022, I had found that the retainer that I had started having like a little bit of a micro tear in it, started to crack a little bit. And I really wasn't thinking anything of it, but man, even just the slightest crack in your retainer will completely start messing up your mouth, which is so irritating. I'm gonna make a separate video about Invisalign, but I made a couple comments years ago saying catch me in my 30s with braces and you're gonna mind your damn business. And here I am, 31 with braces, and I knew it was coming. Again, I will definitely explain why I ended up having to get braces and what, drew me to getting the Invisalign. But long story short is just my teeth started to shift again. I didn't have the greatest retainer, and so my mouth started to change. I started noticing it in my smile and in my videos when I was, making obviously like makeup content or whatever content I was talking in. And I noticed that it started to change. So I was like, you know what? Before it gets worse, I know my smile. I know what it came from. And I know that my teeth will not stop moving until they're done. And they'll be way worse than they are now. I knew that I had to get a new retainer regardless. And so when I went and saw the orthodontist, I said, hey, I need to get a retainer anyway. But what do you say that we just like fix up the minor issues that ended up happening because the old retainer sucked, and then I'll have a new one. And so that's basically where I ended up. And I got a lot of comments of people saying like, oh my God, but your smile's so perfect. Like, who cares? And I understand that. I really, really do. But I knew that my smile was not going to stop moving. I know what my smile was before, and it already has moved. And I just wanted that smile back. So I was like, yeah, it's expensive and annoying that I have to go through this for a third time. Yes, a third time. Again, I'll make a video explaining all this. And this is my last time. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I told this orthodontist, I said, listen, this is my last time. So you fix me up, daddy. Like, I need that. I don't want to keep doing this the rest of my life. It's absolutely annoying. So besides that, I really wanted to focus more of my energy into my freelance business. So I've been doing a makeup, like I said, for 11, 12 years, and I've been doing it on my own since 2018. So after COVID happened and, everybody lost their job for a year, especially like in the service industry, I really wanted to get it back to where I needed it to be. So I ended up launching my website. So if you go to amandadevon.com, it has all my freelance information. So if you are in the Chicagoland, NWI area, I would love to be your makeup artist. But I love to create content. And so balancing the two, I wanted a space for my clients to showcase them and just for anybody to be able to reach me that's not through social media. I know with social media, especially sometimes with me, like I'll get over it and I'm like, I'm going to delete my Facebook for a little bit, or I'm going to stay off XYZ. With a website, it's not attached to social media, so people will be able to share, my site through people without having to be like, oh, follow me on Instagram or follow me here or blah, 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 blah. And let me tell you, if you are a business owner and you don't have a website, do it. It has insanely changed my business. My numbers are so much more up. I'm getting so much more clientele. Like I literally am having to turn people away because I'm already booked for the day or whatever that it is. So it's really great. Again, go ahead and check out that website. So that was something, again, really, really positive for me that I launched for 2023. And I feel good. I feel good this year. It's been a good year so far, and I just want to keep those positive vibes going. So again, it's 2023. I've got my life back together. I've got my business to where it's at, and I'm excited to see it growing. But then where does that leave me? One thing I've really noticed over the last 3 years is I've changed a lot. A lot of my interests have changed. A lot of things that I used to do or don't do or are interested in or XYZ, I'm really starting to rediscover myself. And so I've always been the makeup girl, and I love being the beauty makeup girl, or like somebody that, somebody can come to with any questions about beauty. But I really want to evolve myself because my interests have changed as well. I'm a plant mom now. I want to get back into art with painting and, even maybe so much so as if I get good at it and back to where I used to be, like maybe selling some artwork. I've really been dabbling in just my overall diet and recipes and making meals and things that are good for me and are easy to do. And I've been sharing recipes on Instagram. People have been loving that. And so I've noticed that because I'm changing, that my content is going to start changing. I will always be the beauty girl. I'll always be the makeup girl, and I will always still do tutorials and talks about things like that. But I want to evolve myself because I'm not just that person. Being a little bit more on the lifestyle aspect of it ends up being a little bit more relatable. And so I just want to share anything with you guys. And I'm excited to start creating content that really shines who I am as a whole individual and not just what I'm good at, like makeup. That's my talent. It's something that's my business. It's my job. I love it. But I want to involve, with everything. Going forward, something that I've always already done in my life, but sometimes it gets lost, is surrendering to what is. And that's something that I really was striving for last year. And because of that, I'm starting to see the benefits of it in 2023. Surrendering to what is, allowing yourself to be in the hands of fate. And I know to some people that might not sound, I don't even know the word. When I was younger, I used to say this to my dad. And he'd always say, like, you live in some fairy tale. Like, you're always in the clouds. And I would tell him all the time to don't worry. I will always give myself up to the universe and it'll always steer me right. But yeah, surrendering to what is, going with the flow. That's what I continue to do. And it's in the past, it's never steered me wrong. It's the second I try to control something or hold on to something that's not meant for me is when all catastrophe flies and hits the fucking ceiling. So we're not gonna be doing that anymore. And I'm happy about that. And now you know what I've been up to, how life has been, where my mind's been at, and hopefully just keep it pushing, keep it moving in the direction that I'm going. Now, if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me and just listening to me and catching up with where my life has been the last few years. And I want to thank you for all your support, no matter what journey and where my life is at the moment. You guys are always so supportive and it means the world to me, honestly. If you're more interested in following my day-to-day life with more updates, you can follow me on Instagram. My name is Amanda Devon on there, which is a little bit more personal there. And you can always feel free to message me as well. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for welcoming me back here on YouTube. It's been a while and I'm so happy to be back. If there's anything you want to see from me, please write down below. It has been a minute. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you later. Bye.